wait, let me explain. Please, I'm begging you, Anna.
She never wanted a best friend. Not because she was a bad person, not because she had a cold heart, but because life had already shown her what happens when you open your heart to the wrong people. So she made a quiet decision. Keep your circle small, keep your head down, let your work speak, and never ever let anyone get too close. Her name was Anna, and she was the kind of woman who walked into a room and made no noise about it. Calm, humble, focused. When she got a job at the hair salon in Lagos, she greeted everyone politely, found her station, and kept to herself. No forced friendships, no loud introductions, just Anna, doing her work, minding her life, and protecting her peace the way only a woman who has been hurt before knows how to do. But Lagos has a way of interrupting your plans, and Judith was the interruption nobody saw coming. From the very first morning they shared a shift, Judith filled every corner of that salon with noise, good noise, warm noise, the kind of noise that makes a quiet place feel alive. She was talkative in the way that only truly funny people are, where you do not even mind that she has not stopped speaking for 20 minutes because every sentence is either making you laugh or making you think. She wore her heart like an outfit, fully visible, always on display. Where Anna was a closed book, Judith was a whole library with the doors thrown wide open. They were opposites in every visible way. And yet, something happened between them that neither of them planned. It started small. A shared meal during break, a look across the saloon when a difficult client walked in, a whispered joke that made them both cover their mouths and shake with laughter. Then longer conversations. Then phone calls after work. Then the kind of friendship that does not announce itself. But one day, you look up and realize, this person is part of my everyday life now. This person knows things about me that nobody else knows. And Anna, careful, guarded, quiet Anna, had finally let someone in. It was beautiful. Their friendship grew the way the most real things grow, slowly, without force, rooted so deep that both families noticed before the girls themselves fully understood what they had built. Anna's mother started asking about Judith before she even asked about Anna's day. Judith's relatives treated Anna like she belonged at the table, not as a guest, but as a daughter, a sister, a fixture. People in the neighborhood stopped being surprised to see them together. If you called one, you expected the other to be nearby. If you invited one to a celebration, you automatically planned for two. They shared food, they shared secrets, they shared silences that did not need to be filled. Everyone who saw them knew, these two are real. This is the real thing. Or so they all believed. Because the thing about betrayal is it never looks like betrayal when it is building itself. It looks like loyalty. It looks like love. It looks like the safest place in the world. And that's exactly what makes it so devastating when the truth finally decides to show its face.
It was an ordinary evening, the kind of evening that does not warn you before it ruins you. They were sitting together the way they always did, close, comfortable, easy. Phones passing between them the way phones do between people who have nothing to hide from each other. A funny video here, a voice note there. The lazy, peaceful rhythm of two friends who have run out of things to be formal about. And then Anna saw it. Not because she was searching, not because she was suspicious, but because the screen was right there, open, visible. And the name on the message was a name she knew better than almost any other name in her life, her boyfriend's name. And the words beneath it were not the words of a man texting his girlfriend's best friend about something innocent. They were soft words, warm words, romantic words, promising words. The kind of words that are written slowly and deliberately, with a specific intention behind every single letter. The kind of words Anna herself had received from him, except he was sending them to Judith.
The world did not shake. The room did not go dark. Anna's face did not immediately crumble. That is what people do not understand about real heartbreak. It does not arrive loud and dramatic. Sometimes it arrives like cold water, quiet, spreading, reaching every part of you before you even realize how deep it has already gone. She asked Judith, calmly, the way a person asks when part of them already knows the answer, but the other part is still begging to be wrong. Judith did not miss a beat. She had an answer ready, smooth, quick, delivered with the confidence of someone who had rehearsed it or who had always planned to use it. She said she was testing him. She said she was doing it for Anna. She said she wanted to see if Anna's boyfriend was truly loyal, and if he failed the test, she would tell Anna everything. She said it with her eyes steady and her voice full of love. She said it like it made complete sense, like it was the most logical, most caring, most friend-like thing a person could do. And Anna chose to believe it. Because what is the alternative? That her best friend, the person who knew every secret, the person her mother loved, the person who had sat with her through every difficult season, was lying to her face, was betraying her in the most personal, most painful way possible? That was not the truth Anna's heart was ready to carry. So she folded it. She pressed it down. She gave Judith the benefit of the doubt that only very deep love gives another person. And the friendship continued. And Judith, knowing what she knew, carrying what she was carrying, pulled Anna even closer after that. More calls, more visits, more warmth, more laughter. Like a person who adds more sugar to something bitter and hopes you stop tasting the poison underneath.
But truth is patient. Truth does not rush. Truth simply waits, and it always finds its moment. It was a regular work morning, nothing unusual, nothing in the air to warn her. Judith called and said she was not feeling well. Sick days happened between them, of course they did. And whenever one of them was unwell, the other one showed up. Not because it was a rule, but because when you love someone the way they loved each other, you just go. You do not think twice. So Anna said she was coming. She said it immediately, genuinely, with the full warmth of a woman who had never once considered that her kindness could be used against her. But Judith said no. Quickly, too quickly. She said do not bother. She said she would be fine. She pushed back with an urgency that did not quite match the situation. Because when a person is genuinely just sick and has nothing to hide, they do not fight this hard against a friend coming to check on them. A person with nothing to hide says, yes, please come. But Judith said no with an energy that should have been a signal, that should have been a flashing light. Anna noticed it slightly, but she was Anna. She gave the benefit of the doubt. She went to work alone. The salon was busy, clients in chairs, music low in the background, hands working, but Anna's mind was not fully in the room. She reached for her phone during a quiet moment and called her boyfriend. It rang, no answer. She called again, still nothing. She called a third time, a fourth. The phone rang out into silence like it had forgotten how to receive calls from the one person it should always pick up for. Anna put her phone down on the counter and she sat very still for a moment. And then she said it out loud, not loudly, not dramatically, just to herself, just to the air in front of her. I hope it is not what I am thinking. A client turned and asked if she was okay. Anna did not hear the question. She set down her tools, told the client to wait, and walked out of the salon. The Lagos afternoon was loud and hot around her, but she moved through it like a woman in a dream or a nightmare, not fully present, pulled forward by something she could not name but could absolutely feel. Her feet already knew where they were going before her mind had finished deciding. She heard the music before she reached the door. A song she knew. Of course she knew it. She had heard it from Judith's speaker more times than she could count. That specific song, that specific volume, that full blast Lagos apartment sound that meant Judith was home and comfortable and completely unbothered. Anna stood outside for just 1 second. One breath, the last breath of a version of her life that was about to end. She did not knock. There was no reason to knock at your best friend's door. You do not knock for family. You do not knock for the person whose spare key might as well be yours. You do not knock when you have spent years walking in and out of each other's lives, like the door was never really closed to begin with. So she walked in, through the sitting room, down the short hallway, straight to Judith's bedroom, and she opened the door. The music was loud enough to swallow everything. That is why they did not hear her come in. That is why they did not flinch, did not separate, did not scramble for distance the way guilty people do when they are caught. They were completely at ease, completely comfortable, completely together. Her boyfriend and her best friend, on the same bed, under the same blanket, no shirts between them, existing in a world that had clearly forgotten Anna was supposed to be part of their lives. They were laughing at something when she walked in. She remembered that detail later, that they were laughing, that their faces were light and relaxed in a way that told her this was not a first time. First times come with nerves, first times come with guilt still fresh on the surface. What she was looking at had the comfortable, settled ease of something that had been happening long enough to feel ordinary to them. She walked to the speaker. She turned it off. The silence that followed was the loudest thing she had ever heard in her life. They turned at the same time, both of them, toward where the music had been, and they saw her, Anna, standing there, still, quiet, not shouting, not throwing things, not falling to the floor, just standing, tears coming down her face one by one, the way tears come when your body is crying, but your mind has not yet fully processed the permission to break down completely. Her hands were at her sides, her feet were planted, her eyes moved from one face to the other, from the man she had loved to the woman she had trusted above everyone, and something in those eyes said everything that her mouth did not need to say.
The joy in that room disappeared in 1 second. Faces looking down, 2 people covering themselves. The specific posture of people who have no defense and know it. Anna turned and walked out. That was all. No performance, no confrontation, just Anna, walking out of a room that used to belong to her best friend and now felt like the site of the worst thing she had ever been asked to survive. Judith came after her. Of course she did, because that is what people do when they are caught. They chase the truth, trying to outrun it one more time. She called Anna's name down the hallway. She came out of the apartment, still pulling herself together, voice already working on whatever version of a story she thought could still save this. Because Judith was good with words. She had always been good with words. But Anna did not stop. She walked out of that building and into the Lagos afternoon and kept moving. Not running, not stumbling, just walking, with the heavy, deliberate steps of a woman who has nothing left to hold on to in that place. Judith called Anna's name one more time from the doorway. Anna did not turn around. Because there are moments in life when you have heard enough words, when words have been used against you so many times that silence becomes the only honest language left. Anna had listened to Judith's words when she found those messages and chosen to believe them. She had let words rebuild a trust that her instincts had already shaken. She was not going to let words do that to her again. Not today. Not from this person. Not after this. And the boyfriend did not come after her. He stayed. And in staying, he answered every question Anna had never thought to ask about how much she had truly meant to him. She walked home through the noise of Lagos, Okadas weaving past, market women calling out, generators humming from every building, the city alive and completely indifferent, the way cities always are when your world is falling apart. She did not call anyone. She did not post anything. She did not cry loudly or ask anyone what she should do. She went inside, she sat down, and she let the silence hold her the way no person in her life had managed to do that day. Later that night, she looked at the photo on her wall, her and Judith, both laughing, both close, the image of what was. She looked at it for a long time. Then she reached up slowly and placed it face down. Not with anger, not with noise, just with the quiet finality of someone closing a chapter that can never be reopened. Messages came through the night from Judith. Anna's phone lit up again and again in the darkness. She did not read them. Later, there was a knock at her door. Judith's voice on the other side, calling her name, asking her to open, still searching for one more chance to explain. Anna stood on her side of the door, back against it, arms wrapped around herself, eyes closed, listening to the knocking fade.
And then silence. The same silence she had woken up with that morning now came back, but different this time, heavier, emptier. The kind of silence that arrives when something that used to fill your life is suddenly and permanently gone. She did not sleep for a long time that night, but the morning came anyway. It always does. Lights through the curtain, Lagos waking up outside, the sound of the city starting again, birds, generators, market women, children, life moving forward the way life always moves forward, whether you are ready or not. Anna got up. She stood in front of her mirror, and she looked at herself, really looked, the way a person looks at themselves after surviving something that was designed to break them. She was still there, still standing, still herself. She fixed her braids, she put on her work uniform, she picked up her bag, and she walked out of that room alone, through the same Lagos street she had always walked, past the same faces, under the same sun, but something was different now. Something in her posture, something in her eyes. The quietness was still there, the humanness was still there, but underneath it, something new had grown, something unshakable, the kind of strength that does not announce itself, the kind that is born specifically in the place where your deepest trust was broken and you chose to survive it anyway. She had come to Lagos as a girl who was careful about people. Life had opened her up, given her a reason to trust, and then use that very trust against her in the most personal way possible. But Anna was still standing. And a woman who is still standing after something like that is not finished. She is just beginning. Some people come into your life as blessings. Some come as lessons. The hardest ones, the ones that stay with you the longest, are the ones who come as both, wearing the face of a blessing until the day they reveal themselves as the lesson you will carry for the rest of your life. If you have a true friend today, a real one, hold them with both hands, because loyalty like that is rarer than gold in this world. And if someone ever shows you who they truly are, believe them. The first time, before the second time costs you more than you can afford to lose. This has been The Friend Who Stayed Too Close. Share this story, because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear it today.